Hello, welcome to my channel. The main rule for the quilting is that there are no rules. You will learn, you will watch others, and you will find the methods and ways of quilting that works for you. And that's the most important thing, because you need to find what works for you to be able to enjoy the process. What you will see is my process of working with different materials and different designs, and I hope some of those tips and tricks will help you in your own journey. Hi, it's Paula from Paula Quilting. Today will be second tutorial where I will be using my 6.5 inches squares cut out from the pillowcases. So the layout I would like to make will be again 5 by 7, so 35 ready squares, and depend on the design I might need to have a 36 then obviously to go from there. So let me go through the pile and see what fabrics I would like to work this time. Okay, so the first thing I need to choose which fabrics I want to link together in this pattern. I want to have two different colors in it. And I did quite like those two together, but unfortunately I don't have enough of those squares to make the grid 5 by 7 I was going for. So instead I have checked my stash, and for this fabric I actually kind of picked this one and this one to go together. So I don't have any of those two enough to cut 18 squares. No, I don't think I will have enough of this one. I will try to see if I can cut 18 of those. If I can, then those two will go nicely together. If I don't, some of the squares will be from this fabric. They do match color wise, and I quite like how they are kind of coming in together, so that will help me to use up some of those squares and some of the stash fabric as well. And to be fair, this is fabric also from the bedding, so it kind of matches with the the whole idea of using up any scraps from the bedding I've used before. So let me cut the squares, and I will walk you through the next step. So I finished selection of my fabric for that quilt. So I've got those two squares, type of squares to work with. I've pulled out my remnants of the black fabric, and I will use that black fabric to cut it to 2.5 inches, and I will basically add the frame all around those pieces, both of them. And then when I do the magic of cutting, chopping, stitching together and squaring them up to neck size, I will use those 4 fabrics cut into 1.5 inches to frame it again. So it's quite a monochrome quilt, but I look forward to see how it come up, because it will be quite calm quilt, but hopefully with that black it will pop up a little bit. And so I cut my remnant of the black fabric. It's not going to be enough for all of the blocks, but I've got another piece in the cupboard. But for now I cut 6.5 by 2.5 and 10.5 by 2.5. So I will first stitch those two at the top bottom, and those are going to be sides to be added in the second round. So that's the first step, just to frame them up with that black fabric. Okay, so I've stitched the frames around my squares on both of the colors, and I had an idea what I want to do with it for that block, but as I was making it, now the second idea kind of happened. So I will do 2 types of blocks, and I will just basically see which one I like better. So for the first block I will take one of each of those squares, and I will put them on each other, and I will just cut it without measuring, just cut it anyhow. So Now this will go with this one will go with this one, but don't try to stitch it back so those two seams goes together. I'm going to kind of shift it up a bit, and that's how I'm going to stitch it. So that's one block. I'll just put the pin here so it doesn't move, and I will do the same thing with this one. Let's do this one bottom. I'm shifting it about, really I'm not planning to measure those shifts, but just to give you an idea, it's about an inch-ish. You can have a little bit less, you can have a little bit more. They all can be different, so just, you know, shift and just put it together wherever you want it. So that's second. So I'm mixing two colors for one block, and what I was thinking about is actually if I just take one block, that's just one block of the same color, and I slash it wherever and then shift it down a little bit, that will look great too. So I will do two of those blocks from two different colors as well, same method, and we'll pin it. And here, just make it a little bit more to the left this time. Shift it a little bit down, and I will pin it. Okay, I will sew them now, just, you know, straight stitch, iron them up open, and I will show you the next step. Okay, so I stitched it in, and the next step will be to do the same this way, but actually if I have squared the block now to 8.5 inch, that will look great already as well. So now suddenly from one idea I've got 4 or even 6 different type of blocks here on my desk. So what I will do, I will basically just run through all of the options and put them on the design board for you, so you can kind of pick and choose how you want to finish that block, because it's just got so many options. So let me sew all of the options, and I will put them on the design board at the moment. So just to kind of go through the next few steps, so either I choose the block like this, or I will do that, you know, cutting and again moving and stitching again. And so I will square them up to 8.5 inches, and then I will add that 1.5 inch border from the other fabric. So when I will be putting those blocks together, each of them will have a little bit of different borders, so they are not the same. And that's how I will prepare those blocks now for you to have a look. Just a quick info about the squaring. So you can place the ruler wherever you want to square it up. So I just wanted to quickly show you something. So when I moved the fabric for that first cut, when I stitched it back, I didn't, I kind of moved the fabric more than I should have, and that width was not 8.5 anymore. So I just took some of the bits from the previous squaring up, previous blocks, because I work in kind of batches, and I just stitched it here at the bottom to make it 8.5. So if you kind of move the fabric too much, don't worry, just, you know, square it up one side and just add the bit of fabric to make sure you have that size you want. Also, you know, this tray, those are all of the squaring ups from those blocks. Wow, that is a beginning of new quilt. So if you're interested in checking what came out of it, you know, stay tuned. Okay, I finished with my blocks, and I just want to show you, because I had something obviously in my head, and it ended up, you know, totally different. I was very excited with this block. So this is where I started. Okay, so 6.5 inch framed with 2.5 inch border, black border. So those are my starter blocks, and then I cut it, I stitched it back, and I framed it with 1.5 inch frame. So that's one option. So you can have just the same fabric cut and stitch back. That's the other color. And that's already giving you lots of options of how to lay out the quilt, because you can have 2 colors or 1 color and play with the borders, put them this way, put them that way, you know, plenty opportunities to kind of play with the quilt. Then you can have an option where you have 2 colors mixed together. Same thing, they can go up, they can go down, you know, they can go sideways. You can play with the borders to kind of, you know, spice it up. I kept that monochrome look, so it's black and white, but you know, you can have colors included as well at this point. Lots of options. And what the final block was, the one I was actually planning to make, was this one. So cut twice in the middle and stitch back together. And you can either make them mixed up. So first you have this cut, and then you cut again this way and move the fabric. Or you can have a just single color. Depend what the angle of the cut is going to be and how you know what that movement will be here. Each of those blocks will look so much different. So there's lots of opportunities to play with that block. Just doing the same block but in different cuts will give you a different result. And I really like that block, honestly, all of them actually. So I've got a batch of them to make a nice quilt, but I didn't make them all the same way. So I've got all of those options to put in the quilt. Those will be majority of the blocks, the mixed up mixed colors with 2 cuts. However, I've made a big batch of the other blocks as well. So I'll be mixing them in the quilt, and even those included, because if just I throw a few of those in the quilt, that you know, adds another layer to that quilt. So you know, 1 starter and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. I think that's a great stash buster block, and you know, just have fun with it. So if you liked what you saw, please give your thumbs up, comment. If you have any questions, please leave them behind as well. Subscribe if you haven't for more tutorials like this. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if you want to find out how the final quilt will look like, check out my Facebook page or check out my Facebook group. Follow me on the Instagram, and there's also a Pinterest board set up for you as well to have it all in one place. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to my channel to support my work. For further inspiration and examples of my work, you can check my Instagram or Facebook page. Happy creating!